through your soul.
We all communicate with nature. It's a part of us. It's part of what we're meant to do.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I slipped on starting it right away, but that's okay. Good morning. Hope you're having a great Sunday, everyone. I'd like to have you call out to all our viewers, both on YouTube and on Facebook. This is a little desperate plea from us. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube. Please like our page. Because the numbers matter when we try to book guests, because they say, oh, you don't have enough viewers. And I always say, well, it's quality, not quantity. But apparently for some people, it's just quantity. So not to disparage anyone, but we would love you to subscribe. And we would love you to like our page so we can give those numbers to the people to whom it matters. And we know you are the best fans in the world. So thank you for being here. Please comment, say hello. Share this out to all your groups, share it out to your friends, and like I said, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on veryparanormal.com and like our page. Thank you all for being here. And today we have a sister, a wonderful sister who's, very, very close to our hearts. I've actually had a chance to meet her in person, and we just, clicked, and we had so much fun in my forest. So please welcome Keira Lani and Teresa. Teresa, you even have a closer bond to Keira because she's one of your mentors. Can you please give her an introduction, please?
Oh my gosh, you guys. Keira Lani's energy is so amazing, and it attracted me in the very beginning. She's so relaxed about what she gives you, which makes me relaxed about receiving it. And I've been on this year-long mentorship course with her, and it's not just a cookie cutter course, right? She listens to what we're going through and changes the material to fit what we need at the time, and I feel so blessed by her. It's like miraculous and stuff, and I just love Keira Lani so much. And so, Keira, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be back with you ladies. I feel like it's been too long. So thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
We're so happy for everybody that's joined us. We see Karath is here, and Monica's here, and Nancy's here. Just invite people on and come and share out. Keira, can I ask you one thing? Like, I know we know you, but could you explain the connection between you and the trees and Tree Gong? Just let's hear it again, because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am super blessed to have been raised as a wild child in the forest. So the forests were my playground as a child. I had a really hard time fitting in socially in school. And I always felt welcome by the trees. I always felt safe climbing into their branches, even up to the tippy top of the tree where the wind is moving the trunk. And I knew that the forest was my home. I knew that there was a deeper connection. And I always talked to the trees, but it wasn't until I was in my early to mid-20s that I realized that I could also receive communication from the trees, from the forests. And this first experience happened with a very special totem tree that my mother named Grandpa Cedar. So this is a tree that watched me grow up. This is a tree in the forest where I grew up. And my mother created this beautiful ritual. She has a walk she likes to take almost every day to keep her spirits up and to keep her physical fitness up. This is a really steep, strenuous, short hike. It's almost a vertical incline. We power our way up to the top. We pause and look at the view at the top as we catch our breath, and then we loop around a logging road and slip and slide down the other side where it's even steeper. And at the bottom of this trail is Grandpa Cedar. And so the end of the walk, we pause and we give this tree a hug. Now, I had moved back to this land that I grew up on when I was a young mother, and I had these baby boys that I was raising, and I was feeling a little bit lost at that time in my life. Not sure if I was just throwing away all of my wishes and dreams by stepping into motherhood before I really felt ready. And I was also feeling really grateful to have this place to come back to. So my mom had begun her ritual of going to Hawaii every year when I was in my 20s is when she started doing that. And one day I went for this walk by myself, and it had been a while since I had seen Grandpa Cedar, and my mom was all the way across the ocean in Hawaii. And when I went in for the traditional hug, I felt something different. I felt as if this tree was holding me and didn't want to let me go. It was like he was saying, "Where is that lady who visits me every day? I miss her." And so I imagined my mother sitting on a beach in Hawaii. And in my mind, I said, "Grandpa Cedar, will you please look out for my mom way over there across the ocean?" And then I gently withdrew my energy. I said, "Don't worry, we'll stay connected." And I went back to my little house with my little boys. And the next morning, I awoke before dawn. I sat in meditation and I thought, I wonder if I'm really still connected to that tree. So I sent my awareness back to Grandpa Cedar. And it was as if that tree took me on a journey. And I had a vision and a feeling like I was floating in an electrical web of light. And I sensed that this was a tree communication network spanning the entire globe. I felt like I was connected to every single tree on the planet. I didn't know what to think. I was like, okay, this is pretty strange, but it felt so powerful and real that I just had to share it. So I called my mom later and I told her the story. And her response was the most surprising. She said, "Whoa, I was wondering why Grandpa Cedar came to me when I was sitting on the beach yesterday."
Oh, cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is so cool. I love
I
that.
love it. You're such a great storyteller. I love it. I can feel the whole thing.
And so for years, this was just like my connection with the trees. I didn't really talk about it much. And then I just kept getting messages from different trees. I pretty much stop to visit random trees wherever I go. And some of them talk to me, some of them don't. Sometimes sometimes they're like, "No, don't touch me. I don't want to be touched by a human right now. Enough humans." But I've had other ones share like visions of their whole life story and how they've witnessed things changing around them because trees live so much longer than humans. When you visit a really big old tree, sometimes they will show. I have had a couple of different really old trees show me like a panoramic view of the eons that they've witnessed, things getting built and falling down and people coming and going. And so at one point, a tree said to me, "You need to tell our story." And so I'm still kind of working on this. I'm still working on the book. I've started talking about it publicly, which at first was very scary. And then I realized, oh, I see, this is actually really important. People are meant to be connected to nature in this way. People are meant to be communicating with life as a whole, not isolated into our bubble of technology and humanity, but actually experiencing the interconnection of all life that we in this community are familiar with, but not everyone realizes that we are so integrally connected, not just in the cycle of breath, because yes, the trees are breathing with us. Each time you breathe in, you are breathing in the out breath of a tree. And each time you exhale, you're giving it back. But the connection actually goes so much deeper. And I've realized that this is what the trees are calling me to bring humans back into the connection that we are meant to be engaged in these lives. And they have shown me, the trees have shown me that they are working constantly to reweave the consciousness field in places where it has grown thin or even torn because of mass deforestation. And they are calling in humans to assist, especially in cities and places where nature is not as fully present and vibrant. We're being called to assist just by connecting, just by making your own connection to nature. That is really all that is required to be assisting this reunification. And so as we go in deeper, I'd love to invite everyone out there, and you ladies too, if you have a tree that comes to mind that you would like to bring into this space, that would be so beautiful to feel their presence, to feel the presence of the trees from all the different places around the world.
I'm in the middle of my tree portal here, so I'm excellent position for this. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I actually have a tree that, I mean, I live right near the forest, but there's this one tree that's not part of that, immediate dense forest. It stands out on its own next to our apartment building, and I call it the rehoming tree, because every time I find a caterpillar or a ladybug or a butterfly or a moth or anything, I feel guided to put it in that tree every time.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then I go hug it.
So do you have a little process that goes with this, Keira, that you can share with us? Or what do you think?
A process that goes with the bringing.
Bringing in the trees. Do you have something that you do? Or I know we never talked about it. It just came to me, so I'm just wondering. Sorry.
Yeah. So I have quite a few different processes that I use in this regard. So I was dropping in this idea right now that if you have a specific tree that comes into your mind, so you can drop it in the chat or share that way if you're watching us live or on the replay. I love this story that Bex brought in of the rehoming tree. I feel like that is such the essence of what trees do here. They are so much about bringing life together and connecting. And so whether you are feeling called to put it in the chat or share with our community here or not, I invite you to take a moment to bring your awareness to that tree. And imagine you're in the presence of this tree, whatever tree comes into your mind first. Take a moment to visualize in your mind's eye, what is the shape of your tree? Is the trunk tall and straight, or does it twist and curve? Do the branches spread wide, or are they reaching up to the heavens? What is the shape of the leaves or the needles that your tree has? You may be thinking of a tree that right now has no leaves because it's in the middle of winter, and you're welcome to imagine it with its leaves when they come back as well. What is the texture of the bark of your tree? Imagine what the roots would look like spreading under the ground, reaching, twisting, connecting with each other, gathering the water from the earth. And take a moment to sense, imagine the aroma of your tree. What is the smell that your tree emits? Take a moment to imagine breathing with your tree. Inhaling your special tree's out breath and giving back that breath of life to your beautiful friend. What is your experience of consciously breathing with a tree? Trees have a pulse, almost like a tree's heartbeat that pumps water from roots to branch tips in about 2 hours, depending on the tree. So imagine you can sense this flow of life through your tree. Oh, I can sense, even though I haven't been seeing a lot of specific comments coming through, I can sense all of these trees gathering. And so I'd love to take this just one step farther and imagine that we, the humans here on this show, whether you're here with us live or on the replay, we are all gathering together in a circle. And we have all brought our special tree friends that are at our backs. And I'm seeing it like this, like a party, like we all are gathering together and saying hello, and the trees are like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. It's so good to see you." And I wonder if you can imagine what that tree hug feels like. If you have ever hugged a tree, I wonder if you have ever felt that sense of the tree hugging you back. That's the feeling I'm getting right now. Like the trees are just like, yes, it's so good to see you, gathering us into their fold. And I love that you feel that too, Nancy. It's so good to see you and to feel your tree, and each one of you is bringing an important piece to this council today. And so this council of trees that we have gathered is a unique council, and I'd really love to invite, I feel like we're here with some advanced practitioners that many of you have been on this journey of connecting to nature and connecting to trees for many, many years. Some of you may be a little bit newer to this journey. Either way, you as a human have the capacity to receive wisdom from this council of trees. And so as we are gathered here in this special, unique configuration of humans and trees, I'd love to invite each of you to tune in and see if your tree or if this council of trees has a message for you. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment so we can all tune in together. I'm trying to stay quiet longer, and I'm just like feeling this infectious laughter, like giggling. Like, this is not always what I get from counseling with trees, guys. This is definitely because we're a special group here. And this means you, whoever you are, whether you're a regular Spirit Sessions fan or you just happened across this show for the first time today, you are an integral part of this community of people and trees that are gathering together here today. And I'm just feeling so much like bubbling joy that the trees are like, let's dance, let's play. This is so much fun. I'm so glad we're here together. And they're really showing me this like dancing with wild abandon. And the trees are feeling like, you know how when a storm is blowing and like the leaves start swirling around and the branches are moving, that's what it feels like, but like that. And there's so much energy. some people might be like, oh no, a storm is coming, we've got to batten down the hatches. I'm feeling like, oh yay, the energy is high, let's dance and play. I'm seeing these comments flashing by, and it's so much fun to hear what you all are getting from this experience. Teresa is merging with her tree. Yes. Yes. Bubbling joy. I love it. Mm. Oh, I love that one, Angel. Let the vibration follow your heartbeat. So this is a new level of practice that I've been bringing in, of attuning my heartbeat to the heartbeat of a tree. And of course, trees don't have a heart like ours, but they do have very much the same shape of electromagnetic field that our heart emanates. And they do have a pulse, a contraction. Scientists used to think that the water moved through trees just by osmosis. I was actually surprised to hear that that's what they thought. I thought, well, gosh, trees are so big. Of course, they have to pump that water up. And so it makes more sense to me that there's a pulse. But I think it's important to know that trees are constantly pumping the water through them, just like we are pumping the blood through us. And so when you can feel that counterpoint, that's the other thing. I was getting a lot of music, the counterpoint of our rhythm with the rhythm of the tree, with the rhythm of the earth. The earth itself, the organism of which we are all a part of, also has this toroidal energy field that we all have. And so when you really drop into the microcosm and the macrocosm of life, there's just so much richness to enjoy. And I think the forests and the trees are a perfect place to really come to an understanding of what it really means to be a human. And yes, you can actually hear the trees. So thank you for bringing that in, Monica. I have heard they actually have hooked plants and trees up to, and I think this is what Monica's talking about. They've hooked plants and trees up to electrical devices that take the signals and play them out as music. Now, I have not with my own ears heard this, but I hear I wonder if you get this where you are, Rhonda, because you have like the deep winter and then the sap rising. They say that if you go and hug a tree in the spring, that you can hear that rush of water moving up because they're louder, they're more audible to the naked ear at spring when they're like,
I'll have to try that.
singing more. Yeah.
But I know in the wind they all sing differently, right? They all have their own special song. And
Yeah, absolutely.
What's coming, if it's a storm or just a breeze, they sing differently too. So yeah.
Yeah, so there's the audible sound, and then what I was talking about is that subtle music.
Yeah.
Too, that is the vibration that maybe you can't actually hear with your ears, but you can hear with your subtle awareness.
Yeah, you hear it with your heart, I think.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel it, yeah.
Vibration, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful.
Like when there's a helicopter off in the distance and you can feel it before you can hear it, you know? That sort of sound, I think. So.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. And I really like to spend a lot of time tuning into the sounds that aren't sounds, which I do still sense with my ears, but it's not the actual ear sounds. But I think that's like the way our brain works, that I can tune into subtle sounds by tuning in with my ears. And
that's the ear chakras. That picks it up more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of tree lovers. It's nice to be in good company. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I figured I was safe here to go all the way.
Do you think that people are more connected to trees right now because we're so disconnected from each other, like physically?
Hmm. That's actually a really good point. I had someone recently say that she thinks that being able to go out into nature is at this time the make or break in mental health. And I would say, yes, if you are really like trapped in a box and not able to go out and um, I say get yourself out of your box if you are that person. I don't think that many of the people from the comments I've been seeing here, I think most of you are getting out and seeing your trees. But yes, it is very much. I have had very human connection feelings with trees many times. And so I do think it's not quite the same connection that we have with another human, but it does fill part of that need to actually take time to really connect with a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it's making people realize if they haven't been seeing the forest that it's time to get out there.
Mm. Well, you find that, when you're in nature, you just get this clarity and this peace that you don't get anywhere else, and I think that's the gift of the trees as well, is just that it calms everything down. It calms your nervous system down. It helps your mind to clear so you're not scattered all the time. It just brings, it's, very grounding, of course. And I think that's the part that helps the mental health as well, is that, we spend so much time thinking, focused on things that, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to handle this? We can do this today. And the list of things that just goes on and on. But you get out in nature and it's like everything just goes away. You just get to be in that space and not have to go anywhere with it. Just be,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely find in times when I'm struggling with a decision or there's a lot of stress in my life that going into a connection with a tree or a walk in the woods. It doesn't always need to be connection with a certain tree, but I do really value the wisdom that they bring through. I've had very clear messages, or I've just had this experience that Bex is talking about where it just clears out all of the clutter and we're able to actually see what is really important in this situation.
Because we're a part of nature too. So, we need to remember when we connect that we are a part of nature too. We're not separate in our little houses.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, if you think that everything that, we are in is designed to keep us separate from nature, even just shoes themselves, having that soul that they have is designed to keep our feet from touching the earth, which when we touch the earth, that opens us up even more. It enhances our, abilities. It makes us more connected to everything. So being able just to have those moments, of course, not when it's cold and snowy, but, getting out there and being able to touch nature and be in nature is going to help enhance your abilities, help enhance all of that,
Well, I love walking in the woods in the winter. It's the best time.
Barefoot, Rhonda? No.
Going out there this afternoon afterwards, going snowshoeing in the forest.
Oh, so that's what you were saying, not in winter, is the barefoot part.
Yes,
okay,
yes. Not,
yeah.
Don't put your bare feet on the ground in the winter, but yes, go out in the winter and walk.
Well, I kind of do, but not for very long. Sometimes in the middle of the night when you get that hot stuff going on, like just walking outside, it's like, I think I'll ground now.
I have been known to go barefoot in the snow, but not for a long walk. I agree.
No.
Not for as long, because we want to keep all our toes, and eventually they will get too cold.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Done some rolling in the snow after sauna too. It's kind of good.
Oh yes, that's the best. If you have deep snow and a sauna, that's the best to jump in the snow straight from the sauna into the snow. Absolutely. Yeah, I love, there was a comment that came up from Monica about the trees emitting different pheromones
there it is.
when you're connecting with them. And Monica's bringing in all of the important information today. This is really a powerful thing to recognize, is that trees are communicating through their roots, yes, but they are also communicating with chemical signals into the air. And they definitely do emit different chemicals in response to different organisms. And so they are definitely sending chemical signals to you when you go into the forest. And you may or may not notice them right off the bat, but part of it is the things that we're talking about, these benefits of stress relief, turning on your healing, and Heart Math Institute.
That would be Teresa Clan. She does heart math.
Mm-hmm. Oh, does she? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Heart Math Institute is doing a big experiment. I'm not sure exactly where it is at this point, but they have been going around putting sensors on trees in different places, and they're studying how trees being in the biosphere, just the being in the biosphere of a tree is uplifting to humans. So they're studying that, but then they're also studying how the trees respond to human emotions. So trees also, they respond to you just by being a human coming into their forest, but they also respond to you differently depending on what emotional vibration you are emitting when you go into the forest. And so this piece of the study, I don't know, like I said, how far along with it they are. I haven't been able to find any really recent updates of what they've found, but they definitely found that there is a direct response. And so trees are just so much more than they appear, just like humans are more than we appear.
Absolutely. I found that since really starting to awaken into being more sensitive and intuitive and all of that, that my sensitivity with trees has increased so dramatically. A couple of years ago, they had to come and cut some branches off the trees around our complex because they were at risk of falling on the building. And I could feel that pain. Like, it was horrible how palpable that pain was of hearing the branches being cut off and then being put through the wood chipper, that after they left, I went over to the tree line and I was bringing tiny crystals, and I was like sitting there with them just saying, thank you for your service. Like, I appreciate you. And I had never felt guided to do that. Like, I live in a, trees are getting cut down around here all the time. We're in a very, woodsy area. But that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I wanted to cry, and just the grief and all of that. It was so intense, but it was beautiful to be able to have that connection with them as well.
Yeah.
So Keira, we're getting thank you so much for giving us that connection to the trees, and I think we'll hold that all day long. I guess if I'm speaking for me, I don't know if everybody else can hold that all day long. You have a couple of events coming up, and we want you to share them with our audience, because I'm sure a lot of people would like to go on a retreat with you, even if it's virtual.
Yeah, so I have 2 events coming up in the next month or so. So one is just under a week, next Saturday, the 27th. And this one I am calling a self-healing spa immersion. And it will be the full moon in Virgo. And Virgo is a really good time to let go of any unhealthy cyclical habits that you may be stuck in, and really focus on bringing in more focus on taking care of your body. Virgo will often bring to light any ways that you haven't been taking care of your body, and you'll be less likely to tolerate them during that time. So it seemed like a really good time to activate our self-love and self-healing. And this is going to be also a heart wing activation. So this is a 3-hour workshop a week from, I keep wanting to say a week from Saturday, but Saturday was yesterday. A week from yesterday on February 27th. 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's a 3-hour workshop. And so I'm encouraging people to come and be ready to sit and practice. We're going to do some breath work. We're going to learn about how the heart is connected to the energetic wings and how you can open your wings and step into a greater capacity for healing and self-healing in particular. And we're going to do some amazing practices together to really nurture and nourish your heart, to allow you to put down all of the past sufferings that sometimes come back to haunt us, and step into embodying your divinity and really opening those energetic wings and becoming who you truly are. So this is going to be next Saturday. And then at the end of March, there will be a 3-day Unleash Your Inner Healer virtual retreat. And I'd love to have you join me for either or both of these events. The Unleash Your Inner Healer retreat is something that I did last year. And in this one, it's really about releasing self-doubt, activating your inner light, and taking the next steps on your path of highest good into your healer's journey.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome.
And I think that Rhonda has the links already. And if you have any trouble with those, I can always drop a link in the comments as well.
Sure. Yeah, there is a link into Keira's. It's attached to this video. And there's a link to the retreat, a special one. And then there's the link to her website, her groups, and just getting in contact with her if you have any questions. So, and you can always ask us and we can put you through to Keira as well, because if you've got any questions. But all the information's there, and she's pretty easy to get a hold of. So,
yeah.
Teresa, I'm sorry. This was your interview and I've been yapping.
That's all right.
We're just flowing.
Yeah.
Well, Rhonda, I know that you have a special connection with your trees, and I feel so blessed to have had the opportunity to go walk in those amazing maples, and it's actually close to the time of year. I got to visit Rhonda in the early spring when some of the birds were just coming back, and the little herbs and wildflowers were slowly popping up out of the ground. And I can really feel the presence of your trees in their counsel and in their expansive nature of connecting planet to planet wide. So thank you for that. I know when I first met Rhonda, she was like, "Oh, you talk to the trees? Well, I'm going to have to bring my trees to visit you." And then I got to actually go and visit in the flesh, which is a whole nother experience.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, I'll come down and visit you sometime when they will let us out of our country again and back in again.
Yeah.
I get to go to the West Coast. So, Bex, you have a couple of other questions for Keira.
Me too. I have the questions, the big ones. All right, first one. If you had to choose a song to be the theme song of your life, what would it be?
Oh, this question is so, I thought that my song was just the one that came with my baby name, but the one that popped into my head right now is actually a Grateful Dead song called Eyes of the World. And I think that the reason that song is coming in so strongly is because my goal here on this planet is to really embody a deep self-awareness and expansive experience. And so walking through my life with my eyes open, even in times when it's been painful or difficult, has been really important to my happiness. To be present for pain is what allows me to be present for joy. And universal hug to you, Keira. I keep seeing the comments popping through, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hi, everyone.
Good choice. I like that song. All right. The next question is, what is your favorite crystal right now?
Because
My
I know
favorite crystal right now. Well,
Yeah.
I want to grab 2 crystals. I know I'm a cheater.
That's okay.
This one is my ruby zoisite.
Oh,
And this one, it doesn't come from Mount Shasta, but that's where I came across it in a crystal store in Mount Shasta. And what I love about this one is that it has this, this is what I love about rubies, really, that they have this geometry, this like pentagonal. This one is a little bit harder to see. Some of them are really even, but it always has this geometry, which is like both in the lines inside and in the shape on the outside. And then this one has been, this carnelian has been really important companion for me since I picked this up when I was traveling in March of 2019, and it ended up traveling with me to midwife my sister into her next adventure beyond this physical life. And it has continued to be a really important companion to me. And so I think that has been like one that I kind of keep at hand of late.
a big carnelian. Beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, this one came from Encinita, California, actually, when I was traveling with Emily Harrison.
Oh, wow. Very
Nice.
cool. All right. And the last question, Rhonda, you want to ask this or do you want me? I have it worded now the way that you
Okay.
have
Go ahead.
updated.
You do
Okay.
it. You do it.
Have you ever experienced extraterrestrial intelligence?
Yes, it's an interesting question when you word it that way, because I think when we were preparing for this show, Rhonda had said something. We started having like all of our UFO conversation, and so there's 2 different ways that I look at this question. The one is the visual experiences that I've had of ships passing in the night. And then there have been meditation experiences where I have had the distinct recognition that something is coming from something out there, not from down here, right? And I think the one that I wanted, the one that was the most powerful in terms of visual experiences was when I was in Hawaii many years ago. This is when my grown-up boys were little, and we were all in Hawaii, and we were on the island of Hawaii, the Big Island, and near the southeastern corner of the island. And the vacation rental we were staying in had this little pond with big, tall palm trees, coconut palms next to it. And it was a full moon, or very close to full moon. It was a big moon in the sky. And so I was sitting, I'd finally gotten the kids to bed, and I was enjoying some peace and quiet under the moon. And I was just watching the palm trees swaying in front of the moon and just enjoying the frogs and the night sky. And then all of a sudden, a dark shape passed very slowly and silently between me and the moon. And it actually looked like a skeleton of an airplane or a ship. Like it was a cloaked ship is the only explanation I can give for it, because it was completely silent. It was huge, like it completely filled up the sky. and it passed slowly like this, and it looked like it was made of stars, but not bright stars, just like little points, and like it was a dot to dot ship is the best way I can describe it.
Cool.
So I was like, okay, I have no idea what I just saw, but that was definitely something.
So cool. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Well, I hope you get to see more. It's different energy than the trees, so it's nice to have both. Yeah.
It is. It's
Nancy says those Klingons again.
Klingons in the quote.
Yeah, it's a Klingon worship.
Klingon
Is
worship.
that what it was? Of
We have
course,
Trekkies
Nancy
in the house. Yes.
would know what I was looking at.
Trekkies in the house. Trekkies in the house. Yes.
That's great.
Well, thank you so much, and everybody. There's some. Keep an eye on Spirit Sessions page. We'll be putting up some advertisements for Keira's stuff because we're very connected. She's one of our sisters. And anything else you'd like to say, Teresa, that I've opened my mouth and couldn't shut it today? Sorry.
No, I had a lot of experiences when we were talking about the trees. My first tree was the fig tree from California, where I used to live, and it was giving me some information. I guess the trees on the property are deciding to go away in a way because they're done watching the family now because the house has been sold to out of the family and they were there to watch the family. And so in their own ways, the fig tree was telling me that the pepper trees were kind of deciding to go out. You know, they've done their thing, they've took care of the family and the family's gone and they're going to go on. The fig tree is going to stay on, but it's not getting the same love and attention like when I was there. So it said, hey, just pat me on my trunk. So I gave it a little pat, and that seemed to help it. Its little leaves are starting. You can start to see the green on them. You know what I mean? So they're starting to come out. And then the pine tree here is still beckoning me. Come on out. Let's play. Come on. Stop being afraid of the snakes. There's adventures to be had. And I'm like, okay, but you know, when we do our meditations in class, it's this big old pine tree that I always imagine. So it's probably familiar with me. And it's saying, "Come on out," you know. It's like, okay, I'll get out there.
No snakes out there now.
Well, yeah,
Cool.
That's true. The snakes are hiding now, and remember, snakes are really powerful divine feminine medicine.
well, I love them. It's just they're copperheads, and that just scares me. In Quail Valley, we did have rattlesnakes, but I could feel them when they were there, and I don't know if I could feel these ones. You know, I just don't know them as well. It's
Well,
hard to
just don't pick
explain.
them up.
Well, I don't plan to. No.
Sorry.
You can feel them, Teresa. I bet you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a neat black snake there, and those are the ones that eat the copperheads. And the black snake, I didn't see it until it was already running off, and so I felt kind of sad that I didn't get to honor it, you know. So I sent the honor afterwards, you know, hey, love you, thank you for moving, or you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know the copperheads out here that well, and I just don't know their personality and stuff. So anyway, I'll get over that. I will.
Well, just like with anything else, you can clear your path. You know that.
I
You
do.
set that light ahead of you
I
and
do.
behind you and all around you, and yeah.
I do. I
There's
want to
space.
get out there, and now that the snow's going away, I'm going to go back out there and look for fossils. That's what I like to do at our creek. They got the fossils. So I was having conversation while you guys were all talking. I was listening to the trees and stuff.
Okay.
I love that, Teresa, and I really think that you shared something really important actually about the trees deciding to go. And this is something that I found many people, because our lives are so short, a lot of people like hold on to life like a death grip, which has the opposite effect of what we want, which is to actually enjoy the full experience of our life. And the trees know. They're just like Bex was talking about trees getting cut down. I have had so many experiences with trees of like, yeah, it's okay. It was time for me to move on. And so having this connection with trees, another piece of it for me really is having a sense of peace with mortality, recognizing that this amazing life that we have is balanced with the death that is a natural part of it. And this next journey after we leave this body is also an amazing experience to look forward to.
The bristlecone pine tree that I told you about a long time ago, it was on the edge. This is way up by Big Pine, Bishop, California, up to 395. And it was on the edge. And I kind of had to slide down to get to it. And I was asking it, "Oh my God, aren't you afraid of falling over?" And it laughed at me. It made fun of me. "Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I'm so scared." And then that made me think, well, why are you making fun of me? But it actually stopped me long enough to listen and pay attention to the message that, yeah, they don't see things the same way. It's like, hey, this mountain's my place, and I'm fine with it. And so it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Humorous trees.
Yeah.
Awesome.
With
Well,
wisdom comes humor, right?
if you guys want to, we haven't done this before, but you can take pictures and put them in the comments and we can look at them all later.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, put your pictures of your favorite trees in the comments. We'd love to see them. And thank you for being here. And Bex, you have one more announcement too.
I do. I have the announcement for the winner of last week's Share It Out, who won a session with me. Congratulations, Nancy Louise. You and I have a hot date, so we get that scheduled and hang out. And whoever shares out the most this week will win with Teresa. So guys, share it out, invite your friends, get the word out. Other people would love to hear this content about trees and connecting, especially right now. It's just a beautiful space to be in, and the more the merrier. So we love you guys, and we hope you have a blessed week. And thank you so much, Keira, for hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Take care, guys. We'll see you next week. Same bat channel. And we loved hanging out with you. And we have a special guest for you next week as well. Someone wonderful that Teresa's found. And she's always.
Oh, yeah. She does singing bowls and light language.
That'll be awesome.
It'll be cool. It'll be fun. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.